Welcome back. Vikings victorious. Jim Rich along with the superstar Mike Morris of 105 The Ticket and Paul Charchian of fantasyvictory.com. And let's talk about Adrian Peterson, and we'll let you kick this off. There's talk out there that there could be some legal maneuvering to get this solved and possibly get him back on this Vikings roster.
We've got a November 2nd pre-trial hearing. The trial is set for December 1st, but on Tuesday, we've got a hearing in a pretrial setting, and this is an opportunity for both sides to get together, and that means it's also an opportunity for perhaps a plea bargain to be reached, in which Adrian could have resolution as fast as Tuesday on this. It really is possible. It could be, now that everything's simmered down a little bit, there's not quite so much attention. Both sides are able to come together and make something happen, and if they end up with an agreement, it could very well be that, let's say hypothetically he pleads guilty and maybe it's to a reduced sentence or not, and he's able to not go to jail, not do any time on this, and he's effectively a free man. He can walk, maybe he's got community service, whatever. Then now the Vikings have got a decision to make. Do we want to bring him back this year? Do we want to go on a limb, talk to our fan base, explain that we think half a season away from the game is enough time? And I think there is a way for the team to bring him back in a way that will be palatable rather for the fan base and the national media that's going to follow it. I think half a season's a long time for this kind of offense. Now, the NFL then has also got a role in this, because now the NFL has to decide, are we going to get involved? Do we want to suspend him any further? Now we've got a drug issue that's going to complicate this as well. So there's still a lot of moving parts. But there is a scenario where 2 weeks from now, the team's decided that they're going to bring him back. I mean, if you're going to bring him back this year and they're paying him, keep in mind, team's paying him. Very important in all of this, right? So,
absolutely.
You don't pay him, the $15 million. You don't have to. They didn't have to. If you don't feel like he's part of the plan going forward. So let's say you're the Vikings, you want to bring him back. I think you end up with a discussion that goes a little bit like this. We think he's done his time, 8 weeks, and that's enough time for him. We know that not everybody's going to be happy, and that we understand there are fans that are going to feel like he should never be a Viking again. We're sorry you feel that way. We know Adrian, and we feel differently. He's part of our future, and we want to bring him back, and we feel like the time's right. I think that the fan base is ready to hear that. Talking to a lot of fans about this, that seems to be the consensus, is that they feel like he's done his time now.
But the big question for me is, does Coach Zimmer want to deal with this circus again after finally getting the ship, it appears, righted, teams moving in the right direction? And Mike, do the players want to go through this and have him on their team?
It's an unbelievably tough question to answer. As being a former football player and having something like this in our locker room, that would have been a tough one. A lot of those guys down there obviously have a lot of kids. They're married. And it's a tough question to put to them, and they were put on the hot seat a lot, answering for and again.
It was divided on this.
Very tough. It's a tough situation, and they do have the ship righted. And Zimmer had a pretty tough job ahead of him after he lost Adrian Peterson after the first game, and to think that he's finally got things sort of where he knows what McKinnon can do and has you out on the goal line and so on and so forth, like we saw today. I just really think that it's going to be a coin toss almost.
Okay,
as to what they're going to do.
If you're going to do it.
Yep.
Now's the time. It's bye week, right? A lot of the players are even going to be gone. They're not going to have to deal with this thing. This is the perfect time.
The media circus will be there no matter when he shows up.
It will be, but it's not the same. If you're worried about impact on all the other players, a lot aren't even going to be around during the bye week. This would be the perfect moment. If you're going to do it in season, it's not going to get any better than this, guys. Bye week's the perfect time.
Well, no question. Right. With this much football still left to play, and walking into the bye week now at 4-5, and plenty of football still left to be played. I mean, if you were going to try and make a run to one of those wild card bids, I mean, that would be the way to do it. If you think that he offers or provides you with that kind of boost, or does he run effectively?
Well, he does. I mean, he's a generational back. I mean, is there any doubt that Adrian Peterson will help with this team? I mean, they're getting good production out of the guys they've got, but that's not the game changers that Adrian Peterson is.
But you don't know what he's going to be like after this much time off. You're in a situation where the teams, come together. There's no doubt that locker room has come together. And you've seen it defensively. You guys were talking about how they've swarmed to the ball. Everybody's involved.
But if it's that much of a problem, bring him in. And then if Adrian is poisoning your locker room somehow and it's just too big of a problem, then cut him. Or if he's not in shape, cut him. If it really comes to that, And then you've always got that approach. If you're serious about this team being something in December and maybe making the playoffs and maybe doing something in the playoffs, Adrian's pivotal to all that. He's like I said, generational running back. He's very special. Now, if he's 90% of what he normally is, he's by far the best back on the team. I think you roll the dice on that.
I don't disagree with any of that. As far as what he is and who he is and what kind of running back he is, there's just no question about it. We've seen him come back from horrible ACLs and I think a foot injury that he had. Yep. And of course, this offseason he had groin surgery to reattach his groin. So do we know really how he's going to perform? He had one game for 75 yards or whatever it was, and then it went away because of this mishap that we find ourselves in now. But I don't know what kind of running back he's going to be coming back from the groin injury for the entire, if he hasn't been playing at all. Mm-hmm. And mentally, I don't know if he's ever been tested with this kind of thing. Physically, he's always going to answer the bell. But when it's a mental thing and an emotional thing like this, I wonder if he can handle that kind of pressure.
Okay,
the
how
physical,
about this?
I've never questioned.
How about this as well? All right,
last point,
all right, I know.
go.
We can talk this all day. You owe Adrian $15 million beginning next year, $15 million next year and the year after that. Why not find out this year whether or not you want to pay the 15 next year, and let's see what kind of back he still is. You got half a season to find out what kind of shape he's in. To Star's point, is he still the same electrifying, game-changing back he used to be? If he is, you pay the 15 million. You find out now, and if he's not, you don't. Why not use this year to find out? That's a big decision. It's
a huge decision, and with all the injuries that he's had up to this point, why don't they just go into it with the idea that maybe, look, we were good to you last year. You sat out. We stood behind you. We got you paid. But this year, moving forward, if you want to be with us still, you're going to come back from that 15 mark. You're going to come way back for us if you want to join the team again.
That could be true.
Then you risk him
That's
walking
leverage
too.
I mean, whatever they're paying. What are they? $12 million this year into him this year? Something like that, right?
Yeah, 12.
And I think that if they're showing him that they're putting their best foot forward to back him and to give him that kind of leeway and another chance to play football, that next year we're going to talk. Next year we're going to talk with all these injuries and everything else that's been going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. Let's talk.
Need some money back.
Yep.